श्रीभगवान् उवाच अभयं सत्त्वसंशुद्धिः ज्ञानयोगव्यवस्थितिः दानं दमश्च यज्ञश्च स्वाध्यायस्तपार्जवम् अहिंसा सत्यमक्रोधः त्याग शान्तिरपैशुनम् दया भूतेष्वलोलुप्तम् मार्दवम् ह्रीरचापलम् तेजक्षमा धृति शौचम् अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति सम्पदं दैवीम् अभिजातस्य भारत. As we have been discussing very carefully, that the qualities that will help to study Vedanta. Because without these qualities, it is difficult to study Vedanta. And we saw Abhyam in the first verse, Sattva Sansuddhi, Jnana Yoga Vivastiti, Dana, Dhamma, Yajna, Swadhyaya, Tapa, Arjavam, Ahimsa, Satyam, also Akrodha. While discussing all these above points, we also made it very clearly that this Akrodha is not out of anger, not absence of anger, but it is resolution of anger. So that means accepting my past. Because all our anger is related to the past. Even though the uncertainty, the insecurity that is being projected, which makes me suffocate, which really makes me feel suffocated, because of that reason I get angry, but in reality it has a connection with the past. Because always unresolved past only appears as a projection. If any past is being resolved, will never appear as projection. We say, especially in Odia language, we have a beautiful saying. If a child is dead because of the snake bite, the mother, seeing the rope, will come to the conclusion that there is another snake, maybe is going to attack the next child. So it's a beautiful way of expressing how the projection is completely connected to the past. Now, same lady will look for a stone or a stick to kill this rope, which appears to be a snake. So here, while discussing this anger, especially resolution of anger, then comes Tyaga. So when we look at Tyaga, there are different ways of looking at Tyaga. So Tyaga means, we say, a renunciation. So once we say a renunciation can be divided into two parts. One is called external, other one is called internal. So when you say that it is external. So external Tyaga means actually sannyasa. Sannyasa ashram ityartha. So that means what? You can say the external bahya Tyaga means it is sannyasa ashrama. Why and how? That also we need to understand very carefully. Because the next meaning or the second meaning of Tyaga is called internal Tyaga. So one is Bahya, other one is Antar. So when we look at this internal, that we call as detachment, Vairagyam. Renunciation, that's why first is renunciation, second one you can say detachment. So the external is called as renunciation, internal is called detachment. Now, what is detachment? Is it like, compartment, railway compartment getting attached and detached? It's not like that. You have to be very careful. So, detachment is an appropriate attitude towards my possession. So that means detachment is a right attitude, or you can say a healthy attitude. Now, what do you mean by this right attitude or healthy attitude towards my possession? It means there is understanding. Because without understanding, one cannot have a healthy attitude. So what is this understanding? That understanding here is that whatever I have, starting with the body or ending with the body, anyway, is okay. So all these things, what happens, that says very carefully, all this do not belong to me. I possess, but it or they do not belong to me. So everything belongs to Lord. Because of His kindness, not because of my prarabdha and effort, okay? Nobody talks prarabdha. Because I put my effort, I did it. What did you do? To get this body, did you do anything? To get this mind, did you do anything? How? So because of His kindness, He has provided me everything. So that means basically He has given me. Whenever He wants, He will take it back. I happens to be in a rented place. At least when you are in a rented place, you don't have permission, you cannot put the nail wherever you want. Any change you want to make, you have to get the permission from them. Those who have stayed in rented place, they know better. And the best part is, the owner can vacate you at any moment. Even though there is a rule, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months notice, okay? But interestingly, this God who has rented us everything, He follows American rules, not Indian rules. So what is American rule? Like people will say, wow, Swamiji, my job is secure. I have a permanent job. Or some other country, open contract. These are the language, okay? So what is this open contract permanent job in America? So you enter into the office thinking that you are permanent, then finally you sit down in front of your computer, but you don't have any access to the computer. The security fellow comes and asks you open your drawer, take out your personal belongings and get out. Any moment you can be fired, also equally you can be hired. So how this is being done in America? So this is what God policy, okay? Without giving notice, He wants to vacate you. He will take away everything from you, snatch away everything from you, including your body and mind. That you are listening to, your mind is working. God knows, suppose tomorrow something happens, you fall down, you hit your back of the head, something happens, now you are in a coma. You never planned, you never knew. So God took away or suspended all His thinking process. Now you enjoy as a vegetable. So what is being taught here as that? Understanding that God has given me everything for proper usage. So by using properly, I will be able to see growth for me and for the surrounding. So that's why we use the word very carefully that God is the owner and I happens to be a caretaker. Because God thought me that I am trustworthy, that's why He made me as a trustee. So this is why this trustee role comes, okay? But don't worry, there are some trustees, okay? I remember one trustee, I don't want to bring it. Hand over everything, the person enjoyed everything and finally made sure in the trust there is no money. So there are different people you cannot think of. And those people talk a lot, okay? Anyway, let us not get into, because I am going through a lot of things, okay? However, coming to the point, here, so Tyaga means the internal aspect called detachment, developing an attitude or having an attitude called healthy attitude that whatever I possess, in reality, it does not belong to me. I happens to be the caretaker. That's why it is my responsibility to hand over all the properties to the right person for better usage. That's why this India name was called Bharata. Please understand now, present India, whatever you call, it is called Bharata because of what? A great king called Bharata, who did not make his son as the king, but he handed over some other person and made him king to hand over this country. Whereas a blind person who was too much attached to his son called Dhritarashtra, by hook or crook, he wanted to hand over the throne to his son called Duryodhana. That's why Mahabharata war happened and India was destroyed, or Bharata was destroyed. So here, when I go through this concept, that what? I am supposed to be a caretaker, including this body-mind complex. That's why I accept everything as a prasada of God. My child is a prasada. My house is a prasada. My wife or husband is a prasada. My job is a prasada. Everything is a prasada. Yes, Swamiji, everything is prasada, but always when it comes to my sons or daughters' education, there is no prasada, okay? Don't ask me, okay? When the son or daughter health becomes little bad, there no prasada buddhi works, okay? As a father, as a mother, I go crazy. Please calm down. nothing will happen. If something has to happen, will happen. Okay? However, so this is called as that detachment. And that's why only when there is a detachment, the external meaning called as renunciation will work. So what is this sannyasa? That's why I left it again coming back. So sannyasa means a sannyasi, whatever is having, not for himself at all. Must not be. A sannyasi does not have anything. Nothing belongs to the person. That's why we have a beautiful saying. Very nicely we do it. In fact, in those days it was there, especially in Rishikesh, when a sannyasi will be, passed away, so they will put in a blanket, and of course they will put it, inside in a box, or put some stones and put in the Ganga. Then after some time the blanket will, go away. Other sannyasi looks at, they know it, they will wash that blanket, again put it, and that becomes a new blanket for other person. Right? Something really amazing. So here, that's why this sannyasa ashram is that nothing belongs to a sannyasi. So the possession, that whatever comes, it just comes and it goes. Because it is for usage of everybody. That's why a sannyasi does not give anything or everything to his own people, called so-called own people. Has to hand over to the right people. That is what also another responsibility. That's why we have a concept, very careful concept we do have, that a sannyasa ashram must be handed over to another sannyasi. A sannyasa ashram cannot be handed over to a grihastha. Not allowed. That's why we make trusts to make sure that all the grihasthas, or also sannyasi can be there part of it, that they are just a caretaker to make sure this is continuing. Because it has started for a purpose or with a purpose, so that purpose must continue. At least minimum for 3 generations. Minimum. However, let me not stretch too much. Only when a person has got Tyaga, manobhava, the attitude of this healthy, healthy attitude. I started having throat pain. Sorry. Then only what happens? That person will have the next quality called shanti. So when we say shanti, so what does it mean the shanti means? That's why I remember whenever somebody becomes, especially foreigners, Westerners, when they come to India, when they say somewhere something, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So when there is some, especially yoga people, little bit fight or war, something else, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us do Shanti mantra. Let us chant. What is Shanti mantra? Light a lamp, candle, sit all together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Good, at least some attempt, okay? Nothing wrong in it. Definitely I respect. But here, Shanti means equanimity of mind, not peace. Om peace, Om peace, Om peace. Now tell me, what do you understand? That becomes another word. So here we say Shanti means equanimity of mind. So what do you mean by this equanimity of mind? It is nothing but freedom from violent emotional disturbances. Try to understand. Freedom from violence, emotional disturbances. So in short, Shanti means balance of mind. Samabuddhi. That's why earlier we have seen samatvam yoga iti uchyate. But without understanding this, yoga people came up, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Good. But at least they don't say Ashanti, they don't say Vasanti. Okay? So we have to really respect that at least. Okay? So if they say Ashanti or Vasanti, you know it is very difficult to handle. However, so when this Shanti to be looked at, because how to make myself free from emotional disturbances. Because I need to see that if there are stress and strain in my mind, I cannot be free person. So that means I have to make myself free from my stress and strain. So that means what? Without effort, I must be able to relax. Without putting effort, I must be able to relax. So when I am able to relax without putting effort, that is called Shanti. So that's why here what we need to do is that when especially my intellect gets, let us say, geared up or like accelerated, then what happens? Instead of me relaxing, my intellect collects all the information that I have, uses to speed up my thinking. So speeding up my thinking is nothing, allowing the disturbance to increase. Does it happen or not? So here I need to be very careful. So when my thinking intellectual mind starts speeding up, starts accelerating, what I need to do? I need to use called Vairagya as a brake. So when Vairagya works like brake, or earlier we have discussed Tyaga as a brake, both externally and internally, then what happens? Automatically there will be Shanti. That's why in Vedantic tradition, we look at this Shanti very, very carefully. Because a person can have Shanti, not mere practicing closing the eyes, or sleeping or dozing up, but with the help of Shravana, Manana and Nitidhyasana. So when a person starts listening to Vedanta, as you have been listening, even if you don't like it, once in a while I bring you in very sophisticated way so that I hit you, so that you are shaken up, but don't worry, tell Swamiji, nothing enters. Even if enters, we know what you are talking. You keep continuing, we also will keep listening to, okay? Why? After this 18th chapter is over, don't worry, again once more you start, don't worry, we will be the first people to listen to you. So that we will say, Swamiji, more you will be entering in our mind. In fact, first time whatever we heard, it did not enter properly. Next time definitely is going to enter more. And you will use the logic, how the same drop of water keeps falling on the rock continuously, constantly, then finally that rock becomes a hole. So also this Shravana Vedanta, continuously when it enters, my brain as a stone, something or other will happen. Anyway, don't worry. So here he says that this Shravana, Mananam, Nididhyasanam will develop Shamaha in a person. And that is what is being highlighted as Shanti. So the next one is called Apishunam. So Apishunam means avoidance of slander. That means not publicizing the defect of other people. So if you look at, very nice, this is what we say. Everybody is a judge of others' mistake. Whereas same person is a lawyer for one's own mistake. So that means I am a very good judge for others' mistake, but I am a best lawyer for my own mistake. So here he says, better I should not be a judge Who am I to become a judge? Because to play the role of a judge, something is really serious papam. Unless you have done serious papam, you cannot become a judge. I'm not telling you jokes. What is their life? You cannot think of. Let us not get into too much. That's why, because they go through one side very tough time, so externally they try to do not show up. However, let us not get into too much, doesn't look nice. So here he says beautifully that always my mind highlights others' defects. So when I highlight others' defect, what does it mean? I try to, make sure my defects are being hidden or suppressed. Like in our childhood, I have seen, suppose we have done some mistake, we will not say that I have done mistake. First we'll say, look, my brother did this. In fact, he has done better than me or worse than me. I have done little bit, okay? So if he can do better, if she can do better, if I do also little bit, what does it mean? And I am not telling you jokes. The whole political development or political system all over the world based on what? Apishunam. Criticizing, highlighting others' defect. And the best example, the model is called Kejriwal model, which is going to be taught in, already they started teaching in the universities. So he came up with the idea. Now, so his new model is called, for no reason, tell lie and criticize. And by criticizing, he is able to win. It is possible. Please understand. It's an amazing concept. Because when you keep hearing from 10 people of criticism of others, so you start believing in it. But here he says, look, if you start criticizing, definitely you become a sick person. So if you are a mentally sick person, definitely you cannot approach Vedanta, you cannot understand yourself. That's why if others have done mistake, that is their problem, not my problem. I remember a beautiful story that goes, I think this was Pujya Swami said this story. The story goes in Punjab. Because any Swami, anybody goes to Punjab, little bit if you say Sanskrit, bham, bhya, then you get good food, good seva. Those days, not now, okay? Nowadays things have changed. I should make it very clear. Because unfortunately or fortunately you must know this, that Sikhism was created to protect Hinduism. But unfortunately, Sikhism is becoming slowly against of Hinduism. This is the truth, this is the reality. So let us not get into too much. However, here in Punjab, a Swami goes and he was having some food. A lady was serving. Then some neighbor came and started shouting at that lady, hey, you know, this Swami is a fraud. How can you serve? How can you do this? The lady said, how does it matter to me? I am not his guru, nor I am a sannyasi to criticize. I am just an ordinary lady. Let me do my dharma to serve. That is his guru's problem or other sannyasi's guru bhai's problem to criticize or to bring him back to the road. It's not my job. Let me do my job. That I am supposed to serve, let me serve. That's all. Why should I bother what he did, what did he not do it? How does it matter to me? Imagine a simple lady gives what a beautiful peace of mind. So that's why we say that this Apishunam mind, the one who always criticizes or highlights others' mistake, that mind always you say that always extrovert person. In short, that person is not willing to take responsibility in life. And when that person is not willing to take the responsibility in life, how can you think that person will have emotional maturity? So anything has happened because of others. If I am not good, not because of me, because of others. Starting with my parents, because they made a mistake giving me birth. They did not give me proper education. Even if they gave me education not in a proper school. Even in a proper school, they did not give me this. Even if that, they did not do that. So always the person finds something or other. And here he says that with that, the mind is not going to be healthy at all. Then if that is happens, so that means I don't have to really highlight or talk other people's weakness. Let them have their weakness. That is their problem. Because when I talk others' weakness, whether I like it or not, please understand, I identify with their weakness. Unless I cherish, unless I identify with their weaknesses, I cannot highlight or talk about their weaknesses. Try. Impossible. So that's why let me not get into this mode highlighting or pointing out others' mistakes or weaknesses. Let me look at my mistakes. Let me look at where I am going wrong. Then only I will be able to develop the next value that is called Daya Bhuteshu. So Daya Bhuteshu means kindness to all beings. So when I say Daya Bhuteshu, that means what? Now I need to understand others not from my standpoint, from their standpoint. Because look, when you start looking at others from your standpoint, you extend your helping hand. So with sense of priority, with sense of superiority, that also a sense of pride that I am helping. That is not daya. So here we says that when you want to be a compassionate, so compassion will come when you put yourself in their shoes. So when you put yourself in their shoes, you will try to understand actually what pain they are going through. And with that, you start doing without judging, without taking credibility, without being visible. And that is what is called daya. More of it we will see. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.